Welcome to ImHelgaBlue. As promised, today we'll be decorating the Queenslander. At the end of the video, I'll be showing a second version of this decor with a different feel. I'd be really interested to know which one you prefer. I've also listed the chapters in the description where you'll find each room if there's a particular one you want to jump to. So let's get started. I mentioned in the build video that I wasn't really happy with the gazebo roofs, so I'm fixing them by using an extra 2 shingles on each edge and snapping them to the bottom ones. Working around each edge with 2 shingle roof 26 degree. I really like the look of the overlapping, it forms a nice pattern. When you get to the inner edge that joins to the main house, just leave that for now until you place the 4-metre beams across. The 4-metre beams will snap into the roof pieces that you've placed, but only 3 will go in. The 4th one has got nothing to snap to. So place a 2-metre beam against the cross piece, and that will give you a snapping point to work from. And once the last beam's in place, you can remove the 2-metre guide rail. Now the roof pieces should fit into the last beam that you've just placed to complete that roof section. Just keep fiddling with them until they snap into the correct position. As you can see, we now have a nice square that we can place the last piece of the roof. Every second end beam, place a 1-metre vertical that the roof corner pieces will sit onto. Because we're using this roof for venting smoke, it's much more advisable to use the 45-degree pieces rather than the 26. This allows for much more efficient smoke flow out of the roof. Ah, that looks much better now, doesn't it? But I need to check inside too. I still see a small gap. I'll add some temporary light to the area to make it easier to see where to work. I'm not keen on the underside of the roof, so maybe some extra shingles will fill in the gaps better. This one, if I snap it a little bit, I like the way that sits. Okay, so turning each one by 2, they'll all fit into that gap. Yep, that looks great. The final ones near the main house will need a little bit of fiddling, trying to get each one into the right place, but I don't want them to protrude into the house too much. There we go, finally got it into the right place. Just takes a little bit of patience. I quite like the way this looks now, very neat and tidy. Okay, let's just check inside and make sure that's not too bad. Yep, that looks okay. I've got plans to cover that up with the ceiling anyway. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. Now that the roof's complete, I've checked the original photo again and noticed that there's a railing on the stairs at the front. So let's fix that up right now. With 1 metre poles, halfway down and at the bottom. And then I'll join with the 26-degree railings in the decorative wood. It's looking pretty good now in my opinion. What do you think? It might be my settings and how images are rendering, but for some reason the black 1 metre beams are invisible from a distance and it looks weird. So I'm replacing them with the standard wooden ones on both the railings and on the roof pieces. Totally up to you if you want to do the same. Now I can see them properly from a distance. Now I don't know about you, but I really don't like the way the wood looks on the internal sides of the house. So I'm going to use a double wall feature, using ashwood walls for the internal side. Using the small door, which has 3 snapping points, remove a section of the wall and make sure the door sits right in the centre. This will give you a place to snap the inner wall to. Then continue along, matching up all the walls exactly the same. This might take a little bit of trial and error and fiddling, but I think you'll find, and I hope you agree, that it actually looks a lot better. For the internal ceiling, I'm going to use the ashwood decorative floor. This will hide the ugly inside roof and give a cosier feel. You may need to make adjustments because the room is just a little bit smaller having the inner wall in it, so don't expect everything to fit exactly unless you adjust it slightly. Right, walls are done. Let's get on to decorating the bedroom. I might turn this into a 4-poster bed, and a matching design on the wall behind will keep the theme going throughout the room. I choose to use the deer rug for this room purely because it matches the bed covering. And it's also in theme with the biome in which we're building. With the 4-metre darkwood poles, they won't snap into place, so use the shift key just to get them to move over the edge, just slightly over the edge of the bed poles. And using the horizontal beam on both sides to attach it to the back of the bed. Now the 4-metre beam is too big for the back, so it's probably better to use a 2-metre beam on one side, attach it, and then attach it again on the other side so that it blends into each other. And the red jute curtains should finish off the look as a 4-post bed. For the bedside tables, I use the 1x1 floor piece in ashwood. Make sure you place the top first so that you get it into the correct position, and then you can fill it in using the wall pieces. Finish the look with a lava lamp. Always makes a bedroom look better. We won't need the wall ones, so we can remove those and do the same on the other side. In this corner, I think we'll have a wardrobe. With this, I'd like to use the 2x1 wall pieces in the ashwood and then a floor to form the base of the wardrobe. Then using item stands, we're going to place 3 wraith trophies to make it look like coats hanging in the closet. And then 1 stand on the other side, adjacent wall, for a hat maybe. And then an armour stand to finish off the look. The opposite corner I'll use a beauty stand, or a barber station if you want to be pedantic, and a couple of pieces of crystal will give the illusion of a mirror. And there you go, bedroom is complete. I really like the way the walls came out in the bedroom with the inner ashwood pieces, so I want to continue that theme through the rest of the upper floor and finish it off with decorative beams on the inside. Don't forget to remove the doors from the outer walls and replace them with the wood ones when you're done. I'd like to make a buffet along this wall. For the top of the buffet, I'm going to use the 1x1 wall pieces. Now you might see that there's just not enough room to have the last piece in, so we'll have to remove that one. Then we can use a 1x1 wall piece to form the extra edge on that side. Now underneath is a great place to add some storage. If we overlap them just a tiny little bit, we'll be able to fit in 3 boxes. And then using the wood shutters, we can put doors on the cupboards. Signs make great looking books when stacked close together. Just make sure that the dots for the words are on the inside. Take some time to line them up correctly or they look very messy. A lava lamp for lighting, then some item stands to put some potion bottles on, and our buffet will be complete. In the same fashion on the front wall, we'll make another buffet stand with a single storage container. Close that in with some shutter doors as well. To decorate this buffet, we're going to make a planter pot. Now some of you may know how to do it, but for those that don't, you need 4 trophy stands or item stands facing inwards towards each other. Make sure that the corners overlap exactly so that when you get to the last one it will form a perfect square. Then we add a brute trophy to each of the sides and it will form our plant pot. Now we need some rugs and some seating. Valheim chairs might have been good for Vikings, but us modern people tend to go for sofas. So I've come up with the plan of doing it like this, using the 1x1 wall pieces and 1x2 wall pieces for a larger sofa, form the edges and the back, and then to form the seating section I use the 1x1 floor piece. Start with the first one with the shift key and then just match the other 4 in. Finish it off with the hair rugs to give a cushion look. Very simple but effective. To make a simple fireplace that's not really a fireplace, I'm going to use a 1 metre beam. On the side facing the sofa, we'll place 4 item stands along the length of the beam. Now I'm going to place Surtling trophies on the item stands, and that will give us the look of fire. Place another beam against it on the inside, and you have an instant fireplace. Easy peasy. I'm going to repeat the same sofa in a smaller version for the buffet end of the room. So 1 back piece instead of 2, but exactly the same method. Now, because this is designed as a modern home and not a traditional Valheim or Viking home, I'm going to use banners to give a bit of a decor, a bit of a lift. If you choose, you could also use trophies like the Eikthyr trophy or whatever trophies you like to decorate your walls. But as it's a modern home, I've decided just to use banners. Heading downstairs to do the kitchen decoration, I wanted you to know that I ended up changing it, so I'd suggest you see both versions first and decide which one you like better. Of all the crafting pieces in the game, I really like the kitchen ones the best. I don't know, I think I just like the way I can put it together to make it look like a functioning kitchen, whereas the other pieces don't really mean much to me with forges and all that sort of stuff. And here is where I put the storage. I like my storage to look like real cupboards, and this is how I do it. Each floor square takes 2 of the reinforced chests, the larger ones, and then you can stack them 3 high. So that gives you 6 large chests in the kitchen, which is plenty for all your food and ingredients. After putting down the walls of the cupboard, the outer wall, then we'll use a 1x1 floor piece to sit on top of the existing 2 chests, and that will give us a platform to stack the next 2. Don't be afraid to use your shift key if you want to get things into the position that you want them to and they don't snap the way you like. If you're having trouble getting them to sit into places that you want, use the shift key and that might help you be able to find the correct placement. It's really important, especially when you get to the 3rd stack, that you get up high. If you're using dev commands, just use the fly, otherwise you'll need to use some stairs to be able to get up to the right height. And finish it off with the shutters, as we've done with the other cupboards. I don't want the cupboard to be seen through the decorative wall, so I replace this particular wall with a standard wood one. Every kitchen has to have some kitchen benches, and I also like to use this for a little bit of hidden storage, a great place to put your meads and your mead bases, etc. But in the centre of that, I'm going to try and make a sink. But first, let's put down our 2 1x1 wall pieces and put the storage underneath, one on each side, cover it with the floor pieces, and that gives us our plan for where we want to have them. But there's not enough room in the centre for the forge cooler, which is what I'm going to use for the sink. So move the storage chests across to the edges a little bit further. In order to place the forge cooler to create a sink, we need to put the forge craft bench down. So let's place that, and then we can see how the forge cooler will fit. It's just a little bit too low and won't give us the effect that I want. So by putting in a 1x1 floor piece, I just want to lift it ever so slightly so it'll give us more of a lip over the actual bench pieces. But it won't fit in while the bench pieces are there, so we'll take off the 2 that we don't want just right now, pop the forge cooler in where it needs to be, and then we can replace the bench tops. Don't need the forge crafting table now, so we can get rid of it, and then we'll put on the standard shutter doors. To complete this look of the sink, we're going to need taps and pipe. To simulate this, I used 2 bronze maces for the taps and a bronze pickaxe for the pipe, and place them on item stands like so. This is where the taps go, one on either side of the forge, just sitting above the bench top, and then turn the stand inwards, and we can place the bronze pickaxe there so it will look like the tap or the faucet. I'm really happy with the way this looks, but for 2 main things. I really want an oven, and there's just way too much smoke getting into the house for some reason. Let's have a look from outside and see if we can figure out what the problem is. I think I see the issue. The hearth is just a little bit over the chimney threshold, so I think I'll need to move it out by 1 metre more, which means a little bit of adjustment to the chimney build too. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of reconstruction to get the decor to work. So I'm going to add another metre out of the chimney and bring the hearth out by 1 metre as well, and see if we can also fit the oven in next to it. Now the hearth lines up perfectly with the inner wall, so I think we shouldn't have a problem with the smoke from now on. Now, if you've done it the other way and you're happy with the way it looks, then don't change it. But I think you might like the way that it's going to look with the oven and the other pieces, and be a bit more finished look without any smoke. It's a pretty quick fix on the outside build for the chimney, adding that extra 1 metre piece. So let's get that done first. The chimney wall is now going to take the place of that last piece of the gazebo, which is okay. It's not going to block anything really because the chimney was already blocking the area. Finish off the chimney by removing the extra decorative beam and the stool pieces so that it doesn't look like it was meant to be there in the first place. Now, to be fair, it didn't rain while I was building, so I haven't been able to test this chimney with the extra wide opening. So if you find that there is a problem with it, just add an extra roof piece, the 45-degree roof pieces to the top. Okay, let's get the kitchen refit done. Using the arch piece I think will be really nice to finish off the area with the hearth, and then we can get on with placing the rest of the pieces. A wall piece above the oven gives you a great place to hang the pots and pans, so we'll cover that one in, so that gives us the extra wall. Right, the butcher block. Needs more space. Oh, I really wanted it having that little corner piece there, but it's not going to work with the pestle and mortar, so I might have to move that, I think. Yeah, that's exactly where I wanted to put it. Okay, so the pestle and mortar, let's see, it's not going to go there, it's not going to look any good anyway. I spy a little space behind the oven, which is absolutely perfect. Yep, that looks great. Trick that I use sometimes for the herb hanger is to put a piece of wood inside to give it something to hang from, and that's not blocking the cauldron, which is my bugbear. I hate having that herb thing in the way when I'm trying to use the cauldron. Placing the iron cooking station, and that is it. Yes, and it looks fantastic. I'm really happy with it. It looks brilliant, but you know the best part? No smoke in the house. Okay, let's get on to the standard workbench setup. I'll add a bit of light in here so that we can see what we're doing, and then I'll see if I can fit the workbench and its pieces under the stairs, so that will give us a bit more room. Sometimes if you run out of space, it's not a bad idea to bring the workbench forward a little bit and tuck the deer stand or tanning bench behind. Then just move your workbench back in as close and as tight as you can. I like to use a lot of rugs. I think it gives a more homely feel, but again, that's totally personal preference and it's up to you how you'd like to do it. Okay, I want to put the forge on this side of the room, so it'll be the main working sort of area. It's going to take a little bit of fiddling though. I always have trouble with the forge pieces. It seems to use a lot more space than most of the other crafting benches I find. So just take a little bit of fiddling to get it all into the right places. The good part about having an open area to work in though is it's a little bit easier to get everything to fit. Okay, and there it is. Quite happy with that actually, it's not too bad. really want to separate the kitchen from the work areas, so a little divider wall will work well, and it also will give us a nice corner spot for the Galdr table. If I place the black forge on this side of the house, it means the storage will go at the front, and that's not really the look that I want. So I think I'll put the black forge on the front wall instead. Black forge is also very fiddly, especially now with the extra pieces that have come from the Ashlands. So I use the 1x1 floor pieces to form a bench that I can sit some of these bits and pieces onto. That little monkey was hard to put into place, but we got there eventually. Okay, let's finish off the opening, make it look a little bit more like it's a different room, using the same things that we've done before with the decorative wood pieces. That's better. Yep, that looks really, really nice. I'm really happy with that. So we've got a working area out here and then a kitchen area in here. Really nice. There's a little bit extra space in this corner. How about we extend the bench out a little bit further? That way we can get one more storage box in. Everyone knows you can never have enough storage. Oh, look at that. That was a happy little accident. That looks really nice. I like that circle divider that is poking through the shutters. Yep, I think I'm going to fix the other ones to do the same. Just move them out a tiny little bit. If you leave one shutter door in position, take the other one off, then you'll be able to position the chest correctly so that you'll just see that little circular part poke through. Yeah, that looks super. I really like it. Okay, so let's put some item stands down. Then we can make our bench look like a proper working kitchen bench with some food items, maybe a loaf of bread and a knife, and some cups for washing up. Now remember that the fire gives the resting buff, so we'll try and increase the comfort level to as much as we can, but still keep the theme of the decor from the rest of the house. So using the same banners that we used upstairs, and a raven chair will also give you an extra point in comfort boost. So the main storage area is going to go here, and I'm going to use the same method as I did for the pantry in the kitchen, but we'll double the size. So 2 by 2 wall pieces will give us enough area to have 4 chests on the ground, and then we can do 3 high, the same as we did for the kitchen pantry. This last floor piece you can actually remove because we don't want it poking through. I just can't get the hammer to focus on that piece, so I'll have to pop the wall out first, remove the floor piece, and then pop the wall back in. Once again, to remember to get up high, you'll need to be above the second row to be able to place the top row. Then once again remove that pesky floor piece that's sticking out. I think I want to put a couple of extra boxes on this side at the bottom, so in order to do that I'm going to have to put the forge cooler, the black forge cooler, up on the shelf, but we may need to move things around because I don't think it's going to fit exactly where I want it. So let's try a couple of things to see what we can make it happen. And there we go, what do you know, it fits. And we've got room for maybe 3 large storage boxes over here that we can use purpose built for the metals and the ores. Now if you're like me and you find it hard to remember where everything is in storage, it's much better to have labels on the boxes. So this is how, when I do my stack, how I do my signs. Putting the 2-meter beam down will give us a place for the signs to sit on for the middle row. I don't like that one sitting there because it's coming over the front of the decorative piece. No, that one's got to go. Okay, so these signs will sit perfectly, which gives us plenty of space and access to the chest above and the chest below. For the bottom chests though, I think I'm going to place them along the floor, and that will make sure that we've still got plenty of space, because there's nothing worse than clicking the wrong place all the time. It's really frustrating. And the top ones should connect nicely to the roof. Yes. I prefer to use colour on my signs as I find the black really hard to see. To do this, you use a HTML code with a smaller than sign, write colour equals, and then whatever colour you want to use. I use white, and then the greater than sign. As soon as you hit the greater than, it will disappear, and then you can write in whatever you want on the sign. Notice that when you use one word, the typeface is really large, but if you use more than one word, generally it will make it smaller. So to make them all centered and neat, I use a bit of a gap. Push out the second or the last word to as far as the text will allow, and then that will make it sit neatly in the centre. Just have a play around with it and see how it looks, what you're happy with and what you're not. The more you play with it, the more you'll get used to how the different effects will work. I want to check upstairs to make sure that the downstairs deco hasn't affected anything up here, and straight away I can see that the arch over the kitchen divider is showing through the floor, so that's going to have to go. I'll finish it off downstairs with the vertical pieces instead. So on the right side gazebo, we're going to put the dining room. That's the right side as you're facing the front of the house, of course. Place down some proper lighting, removing the temporary ones we had from before. I'm going to use the sconce because I think it gives the most amount of area effect light. I want to put the round table here in this area, so to get it into the position that I think is probably around the centre, I use the blue rug, and then if you can get above, you can place it generally in the correct position. But the rug's not going to stay there, so if it's slightly off, as you can see now I've moved across here a little bit, I'm going to remove the rug anyway. It was really there for a guide. Now, putting the chairs down, I set them at 12, 3, 6 and 9 o'clock so that I can make sure that they're in exact position. And when you're looking down at them, you want just a little bit of a gap between the chair and the table, and that way you know that they're correct. Then place an extra chair in between each one and you've got 8 perfectly placed settings. We need to set the table for plates and cups, so with the item stands we're going to place one in front of each seat for their plate, and then we'll put another one for the tankards. Centre of the table we'll use a brazier, and that will simulate Well, basically an outdoor heater or a barbecue surface. Either way works fine. And we need a drink station, so with some floor pieces and item stands, we'll set up a bar. Right, that's done. Now let's look at the other side. Now on this side we're going to put a jacuzzi, an outdoor relaxation area if you like. So again we'll use the sconces for the lighting. Place the jacuzzi in as best of the centre as you can get it. Sometimes you might need to use the shift key. Then we'll use some benches to have some outdoor seating. Make sure that the arrow that you can see in the centre is facing towards you. That way you know you've got it the right way round. Now we need a towel rack. So for this I'm going to use armour stands. Have them facing away from you and put them as close together as you can, and then using linen capes attach them to the armour stands and it looks like a towel rack. Just for a little bit of light relief here, I'm going to put a sign up, again using the HTML colour code, and the sign will read bathers optional. Now that means basically swimmers, swimming costume, depends on where you're from as to what the colloquialism for how you say bathers or swimmers. Right, that's all done. Let's start on the outdoor landscaping. First of all, we'll need wooden flooring all the way around the perimeter of the house. For the front garden, I want it to be quite decorative, and I'm a bit into symmetry, so whatever I put on one side, I'll repeat in exactly the same manner on the other side. The trees that I always choose are reflective of where the house is placed. So always have a look around and see what kind of trees you can see in the nature and repeat that type of tree if you want it to look like it's in keeping with the area. But that's again totally a personal preference. Then you can use all sorts of different shrubs, turn them around to give them a bit of a different look so they're not all symmetrical and uniform. Using the two different styles gives a little bit of shading and colour, and then we will cultivate the land so that we can put some plants in. And I want to finish off the look with the paved road. I think this gives it just a neater and tidier look. I do use a mod called My Dirty Hoe, and I hope you could see the difference. Using a regular hoe to using My Dirty Hoe gives it a nice sharp clean edge. Another mod that I absolutely love is Plant Easily. This allows me to plant in straight rows, the correct amount to fill the area, and I'm planting the seed onion not for a vegetable garden but because I like the flower look. So this will give me a row of flowers right at the front of the garden. Do the same on both sides. Then we'll fill in the gaps with whatever takes your fancy. Here I'm using Ashlands ferns, and we'll also use a couple of other varieties to fill the area. The mod that I use for landscaping is called Plant Everything. That allows you to plant whatever items you want in any biome, which when you're doing a decorating piece, I really like to be able to decorate it how I like. It doesn't matter what biome it's in, but that again is a personal preference. So if you're not using that mod, then obviously you will use whatever plants are available to you where you're building. The Ashland vine is a new plant from the Ashlands update. Now with this one, you need to have something for it to cling to, and you plant it basically 1 metre or thereabouts. You don't have to be exact, but just about a metre away from where you want it to cling to, and within a few minutes it will pop up and cling back against the item that you've placed it in front of. And then it will grow up like a vine. It's really, really interesting to see how it works. Right, with the front landscaping done, at the back I want to turn it into a vegetable garden. So we need to plan out and cultivate the land and get that ready for harvest. Again, you can see the difference here from using the regular hoe to changing over to My Dirty Hoe, how it gives you incredibly straight lines to work with. And I don't know, it just maybe works with my OCD a little bit better, I think, to make sure that it looks really neat. Now you can see while I've done the cultivating up close to the floor pieces, it's left some blobs of soil poking through, and I really don't like the way that looks. So I'm going to have to remove those pieces and fix the land underneath so it doesn't poke through. All depends on how pedantic and neat you want to be, so totally up to you. And once you've got the cultivated soil looking exactly how you want it, then it's time to start planting. Again, I love the Plant Easily mod. It just makes your life so much easier and your gardens will look so much nicer too. By pressing the right control button with the arrows, you can increase the number of columns and the number, how long your columns will be. So it's really a clever mod, but I understand for those who don't want to use mods and will do them manually, totally up to you. No judgment here. I really like the look of using the flint for an edging. So this is how I'm going to edge my garden, and that will finish off the look. And with a back fence of your choice, it will just protect it from some nasty railings. Probably won't work for a troll though. Then we'll finish off the free post area with the stone paving. But I think I want it to connect to the back, so a couple of these seeded onions are going to have to go. I find the best way to get rid of them is to punch them. Then with a little bit of tidying up on the hoe, getting rid of that extra stone piece on the walls, our deco here is done. I really hope that you liked it, but just to give you an extra view of what it would also look like done in a different way, this is another version that I've done. The first one was done in a country home feel, this one's done as a beachside, and let's take a look. You can see I've still used a lot of the same types of things with the ashwood walls on the inside and the decorative floor ceilings. But I've added the glass or the crystal into the window pieces. This gives just a little bit of a more classy look, I feel. Into the living area, another different type of fireplace is with the Brenner trophies attached to a centre stand and then using the glass or the crystal pieces to form around it. And with the lounge pieces, the same way I did on the other one, but forming in an L shape. On the back wall, we've done a full length and full height buffet with a nice glassed-in bar. Heading downstairs into the work area, you'll notice the stairs are in a different location. That's because I decided to make an underground area for storage, and we'll take a look at that in a little bit. But here we've placed our workbenches and forge into the corner area. The kitchen again up the other end with benches, the tap, sink and storage. A little bit different look, but quite nice just the same. Outside, the garden's been planted pretty much the same way, but I've used the new ashwood decorative piece as a border, which I think looks quite nice. I've also used the diverger lanterns on this one instead of the sconces, just to give a different look and a softer lighting. Okay, so let's have a look at the underground area. I wanted to give this a bit of a spooky dungeony feel, and the black forge is actually giving a feel of a desk. So with the chair sitting behind it, it's like a CEO type desk look. Then we've got the cages and our special items behind it, and the Galdr table in the corner. And as we turn around, we've got a nice full wall of storage. And there we go. Which one did you prefer? The country style or the ocean view style? And did we do a good job at matching the original? Drop me a line in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Thanks so much for watching today. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe. Have a great day. Cheers.